Okay, hello everybody. We are here for our December 13th meeting with the AG Solo Working Group, and we are welcoming today Teresa Boring, who's a licensed clinical social worker with Aging Well Elder Care. She has her master's in social work with a specialty in gerontology, and she is the director of care management, and she has been with that agency since 2013. She will speak a little bit about Aging Well Elder Care, but let me just say that I know it's been around for 34 years, and it's certainly one of the oldest, largest, and most highly respected life care management practices in the DC metro area. So here you go, Teresa.
Great, thank you. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and share my screen, I guess, and we can kind of jump into the presentation. All right, everyone can see that?
Yes.
Great. So this is kind of just what Margaret just said, so we can skip that. So what to expect from me today. So I understand you guys are kind of interested in learning more and understanding better what an aging life care manager can do, and particularly our Well Senior program. And then I'm hoping to talk to you guys a little bit about how to use this information to kind of push forward with your goals and your wants to become successful solo agers. So a raise of hands, and I'm going to change my screen so I can see, but how many of you have pre-planned, you feel like have fully pre-planned for your future? So I see no hands yet. Now I know for sure you guys you're all thinking about it, right? You know, there's the desire for that. There's the, you know, actual energy output. You're attending informational meetings, you're doing all the things. But of course it's hard, right? And so something I just wanted to speak to here is that there's always some discomfort that comes with doing something new. And that really comes with doing anything new for the first time. And just understand that that's a natural reaction. And so long as the goal of this new thing is to improve your circumstances, it's really often healthy to push forward and to push through that discomfort. You know, so remember that planning your own future, the future of your loved one, is something that can be done at any stage, but it tends to be more helpful and have more impact when there's meaningful planning that's done before any illness or before age progresses. And if just remember also, if it lives in your head, others don't know about it. So if you feel like you have conceptualized a plan, but you haven't communicated that, you're kind of missing a very vital step. And so make sure you're communicating your future plans with friends, family, your support system. And really learning how to communicate effectively is one of the most important things that you can do for yourself. And let's see here. So this is kind of just a visual. We won't spend too much time here, but in the world of aging life care management, these are the things we focus on: health and disability, financial, housing, family, local resources, advocacy, legal, and crisis intervention. Now, when you're planning on aging solo, these are also areas that you can kind of think on to pre-plan for what you might need in those various areas. All right.
Actually, Teresa, that is an important thing that I think the group did want to look a little more closely at.
Sure.
Were those 8 knowledge areas. So if you wouldn't mind repeating that, that would be helpful.
Absolutely. Yep. And when I forward you guys this PowerPoint, this graphic will be there. It's also on our National Association website, and it kind of lays out the definitions of each area. But generally speaking, the way that we as care managers view an individual person is that when they're aging, when they're experiencing a chronic illness or any form of disability, these are the areas that are best looked at to make sure that the person is being supported appropriately. So you might have your health and disability and your financial area kind of fully locked down. But if you don't have your legal documents done, then you're kind of missing a whole step. On the same token, you might have your legal documents done, but if you haven't communicated those to your healthcare team or your support team, or looked into your future housing needs, you're also missing another step. So this is kind of a way to look at the kind of envisioning this as a whole person. These are the different areas that people tend to need support in as they, again, either progress through age or through chronic illness. Sometimes we do have clients who are younger, who might have an onset of a diagnosis that makes it very helpful to have a care manager on board. Any questions about that? And sorry, I can't see anyone, so feel free to just speak up.
One. Oh, okay.
All right, we're going to go to the next slide here. So we wanted to talk a little bit about our Well Senior program. And so our company provides care management. We provide a companion program. We also have this Well Senior program that is specifically separated because it is geared towards people who are either aging solo, or maybe they're coupled and their primary support systems live out of town, or maybe they don't have a plan for what to do if they need to go to the hospital, or if they suddenly weren't able to manage their own needs. And so this program is geared towards establishing a relationship with someone before they have any needs, so that we can know you well, we can understand what your current baseline is. And then if something happens, if you have a fall, if you have a new diagnosis, we can help step in to help you manage those needs and provide care management. So essentially, this is the process for getting involved. So there's an initial intake, and I'll talk about that more in a later slide. There's the enrollment, which involves signing paperwork and paying a deposit. After that, there's an initial assessment. And then throughout the year after that initial assessment, you receive quarterly phone calls. After your quarterly phone calls, after the year has gone by, you'll have an annual assessment, and that happens kind of throughout the lifespan of your involvement with us. Is the quarterly phone calls, the annual assessment after that. So once you're enrolled, after that, care managers are then able to provide support if and when there's a medical crisis, a health-related change, or if you're just needing advice on something like housing or care options. That time is billed to the client. So at that point, we are basically jumping in to provide our care management services. We follow the structure of quarterly phone calls, which are not billed to the client, and that's because some people might not have anything they need to reach out to us for throughout the year, but they might have some medication changes, they might have a new service that they're getting, and so those calls are meant to just update our system, make sure we know you and your baseline for if and when that emergency does occur. Just for perspective, if a prospective client comes to us in a crisis today, they're not already enrolled in the Well Senior program, we probably won't be able to help for a few weeks, maybe a month. That's just how it is right now. Occasionally we can jump in same week, but it's very unpredictable. On the flip side, if a Well Senior who's already enrolled in the program calls us today with an emergency and a crisis, we're going to jump in right away. They're already enrolled. We have them in our system. We have everything we need. We're going to jump in to help with whatever's happening. So I understood from my conversation with Margaret and Joan that you guys were looking at kind of understanding nonprofit versus for-profit organizations. And so our company in particular is for-profit. The biggest difference is that the nonprofit care management agencies here locally are usually able to provide a sliding scale fee. Their typical rate is still about the same as ours, but if you have a certain income, a certain lower income, they can sometimes reduce their rate for you. That being said, our agency is unique for two main reasons. The first is that we're not aware of any other local care managers, either nonprofit or for-profit, that offer anything similar to the Well Senior program. And second, we specifically take a team approach for all of our clients, and especially for the Well Senior clients. So this means that you get not only the expertise of our entire staff, which includes nurses, social workers, physical therapists, and gerontologists, but also if there's an emergency, for example, you call today because you ended up in the hospital, we're going to be able to jump in. We're going to find whoever on our staff is available or has the most time to be able to help you with that need right away. When might we jump in to help one of our well seniors? This is a question we get a lot. So something like a hospitalization that can include planned surgeries or emergencies. New diagnoses, this can include cancer, a neurodegenerative disorder like Alzheimer's disease, an onset of heart issues, maybe kidney failure, really any other major life-limiting condition that may potentially change kind of the future trajectory of your plans. We're often also contacted from our well seniors regarding life transitions. So sometimes people might decide that they want to consider moving, maybe to be closer to family or a support system in a different state. Maybe they're interested in downsizing. Maybe they're interested in finding a group home or in a different assisted living to move to. And really, you can contact us for any reason that you might feel would be beneficial to you. So as an enrolled well senior, they're welcome to contact us at any time to ask any question. So what to expect with that first call if someone calls to sign up with us. So people call us or email us pretty much every day to inquire about services. With that first call, you can expect to share some of your basic information. Typically, you'll then receive a call back from an intake specialist, but sometimes the intake specialist can't answer the phone right away. So you call and the person that answers is going to be the intake specialist. That first call is free. It's comprehensive as well. You can expect to have a good understanding of how we can best help you before signing any paperwork. We gather as much information as we can to learn about your situation and help make judgment on the right services for your situation. Sometimes people aren't sure. And so the options include a consultation, can be done in the office, over the phone, or in person, or Zoom. Care management or assessment, the Well Senior program, which we've been focusing on, or our Debbie's Angels companion service. And occasionally clients interested in the Well Senior program will choose to first start with a consult. And that really kind of is often happening if people think that they might need some help right now, but they're not sure. Maybe they think they need some care in the home. Maybe they want to investigate some housing situations. And so that consult can focus on the immediate needs. And then if you feel like you're good with those, you're able to move forward with those recommendations, but you're still wanting the Well Senior support in case of an emergency, then after the consultation, we'll enroll you in the Well Senior program. So I wanted to include this kind of as a way to just help you see how, when you think it's complex, it's because it actually is complex, right? So this is a mind map. It's called When the Bottom Falls Out. So at the center of it is a major medical setback. And so you can see that as soon as that happens, there's a slew of different things, questions that come up that lead to more things and more questions. So we don't have to go over all of this now, but I think it can help you visualize why when you're thinking about something like this, it can be overwhelming, right? So feeling stressed yet? So a good question to ask yourself is, how do you handle stress? Do you feel like you have healthy and effective coping mechanisms? Remember that the best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. I think that the Well Senior program can do a lot to support you, but we find that people feel the best and feel the most encouraged about their own situation when they have effective skills and coping mechanisms to deal with all the different things they might be dealing with. And while the Well Senior or the care management programs can help you coordinate, can help you place care, can help you do different things, sometimes some of that work has to come from within yourself to really get down to, you know, what's important to you, how are you going to cope with stress, and things of that nature. I wanted to include this slide to kind of encourage people to allow others to help motivate you. Obviously, you're doing a lot already by attending things like the Iona Solo Aging Program, by being a part of this group. These are some other options. You know, I'm a big fan of therapy. If you feel like one-on-one conversation could help you kind of build more resilience and prepare for how you will have conversations, maybe difficult conversations in the future. I also really like this Brene Brown Unlocking Us podcast, especially the very first podcast that talks about FFTs. It's basically doing something for the first time and how to get yourself through that when it's an uncomfortable experience. And this last part here, so if you think you're preparing you're preparing to emotionally tackle something, consider this. Do you have items on your to-do list that you're not accomplishing, or things you know will help you in the long run, but that just feel too overwhelming to complete? So having a professional like a therapist or someone to use as a sounding board and work through the underlying reason for that delay can be infinitely helpful in getting yourself to the next step. And that's me. So I'm back. Hopefully everyone can take a deep breath. We shared a lot of information. I don't know, Margaret, if you and Joan, if you guys want to jump into the question and answer, or if there's other specific things.
I'm going to stop the recording here.
Okay.